A marsh farm is a characteristic site in East Norfolk. These small farms vary in size from 20 to 100 acres, their average rental being £2 sterling an acre, the grazing lands commanding a sovereign more. The marshes round the farm buildings have no hedges, but are divided by dikes, which are from 5 to 10 feet wide. The larger water divisions are called swims, and, at times, a drove of cattle may be seen swimming across these, following their leader, who has been carried across in a ferry boat. The land of these farms is very fertile, but little corn is grown, the chief crops being oats, beans, roots, and hay. It was in Norfolk that the system of rotation of crops originated, and to this day wheat, turnips, barley, and hay follow one another in regular succession. Marling, by which much poor land in Norfolk was made profitable, is little done on the marsh farms. On the upland farms, however, it is still necessary, 16 tons of marl going to the acre, this being reckoned to last 14 years. The manures used in marsh farming are litter, keel muck, and the shovelings of the dikes obtained by didling. The ploughing used to be done by the somewhat clumsy but picturesque Dutch plough drawn by oxen, but now these are rarely to be seen in Norfolk. The older buildings have some peculiarities, one feature being the large-sized barns. These were built large in order to winnow the corn in them, which it was Norfolk fashion to do by casting the grain with shovels from one end of the barn to the other. It is needless to say this curious method is no longer in favor. Let us see how the marsh farmer spends his life and makes his farm pay, for they nearly all do pay. Besides his oats and beans, he has a splendid root crop. In fact, it was in this county that the turnip was first cultivated in the fields as a regular crop. Before the reign of George I, they were only found here and there in gardens. From suitable land, the marsh farmer now gets from 35 to 40 cartloads of roots per acre. For his marsh hay, he gets from 3 to 4 pounds sterling a ton. Pigs are another source of revenue, the gaunt, thin-flaked Norfolk breed wandering over an old turnip patch being a common sight. Pork is, in fact, one of the staple foods of the Norfolk peasantry. Nearly all the farms possess a few head of cattle, the Shorthorns being the favorite breed throughout Norfolk. The breeding of cattle is occupying the attention of Norfolk farmers much more than formerly. All these farmers, too, have their sheep, and many a beautiful pastoral with cows and sheep is to be seen as one sails through the district. The marsh farmer cannot, however, breed turkeys very successfully, the damp killing the young birds, or, as some think, there may be some pernicious food they find on the marshes. The upland farmers, however, breed them extensively. Geese, fowls, and ducks are largely bred on the marsh farms, the surroundings being especially congenial to ducks and geese. A little mustard is grown for feeding the sheep, but not much. We were surprised to find that scarcely any market gardening was done on these marsh farms. Many of them, however, grow celery and keep a considerable number of bees. Cheeses are made on most of them, and rabbits are common, but are well kept down by shooting and ferreting. Let us venture into the fields for the haysel, and take in this bright sunny June idyll of the marshes. The sky is of the purest blue. The mowers in their picturesque dress have been over the ground a few days before, laying low the sweet-scented grasses with magnificent sweeps of the scythe. At times they might have been seen in a row, sharpening their scythes, and superb they'd look as, replacing their hones, they bent to their work and advanced, a devastating army passing over the ripe grass. The June sun has shone brightly, and the hay has been pitched and tossed and is now ready for carting. The large tumbrel with the rope hanging below ready for securing the load goes regularly along the rows, taking each haycock in turn, the man with the rake keeping abreast and bringing up the straggling wisps to the wagon's forewheel, where the pitcher takes them and places them on the load. The graceful figure with the rake is resting until the wagon shall move on to the next haycock. From time to time, along the Marsh road in the distance, heavily laden hay wagons pass on their way to the farmyards. Beautiful in color is the fresh green carpet of the newly cut marsh, dotted over with the brown weathered haycocks. As midday arrives, the heated workers retire to some shady nook, and in peace eat their slender meal, after which they take a short nap or angle in the river for bream or roach. At eventide, the starlings fly in clouds to the neighboring trees, or settle on the reed beds, whence to be frightened away by the watchful gunner. Along the marsh wall come the cows, and in the distance we hear the bark of the shepherd's dog as he gathers in the straggling flock. At length the last tumbrel is loaded, and in the gathering gloom disappears over the marshes, leaving us alone with nature and wrapped in reverie.